This video will be all about the augmented sixth chord. So, let's get started. All right. Okay, so some things about the augmented sixth chord in general first. Okay, so all augmented sixth chords have, of course, an augmented sixth. And if you can think of this in terms of solfege, it will help. At least I think it helps. So the augmented sixth is going to be solfege lay and fi. Okay. Both lay and fi will have a strong resolve to so. Most commonly, lay is going to be in the lowest voice, so it's usually in the bass. Okay. But fi could also be in the bass too. That would be second most common. There's not ever going to be any kind of inversion sign with these chords, but lay is the most common for the bass. So oftentimes what you see is lay and fi expanding outwards to so. They are chords, which means they have 5, or they do a cadential 6/4 and then a 5. If they go anywhere else, then they are not going to be labeled like what we'll see with like country names. Okay. They can be used in either major or minor keys. They are a little bit closer to the minor key because in minor you would already have lay. You would just need an accidental for fi so far. But they can be used in either mode. Okay, and most commonly they're going to be approached by very stepwise, often chromatic kind of voice leading. All right, so first up is Italian. Italian augmented sixth chords are the only augmented sixth chords with only 3 notes. So it's lay, do, and fi. If you have 4 voice writing, then you would double do. I have ways to think about these, and hopefully they're helpful. When I think Italy, I think 2 things, gelato and pizza, and my favorite part of pizza is the dough. So in an Italian augmented sixth chord, you double the dough because it's delicious, right? Okay, so the Italian augmented sixth chord is highlighted in the shaded box for this Mozart piece. So we're in the key of E flat. So this C flat is going to be our lay. E flat is do, and then A natural is fi, and you can see them resolving outwards. So lay goes down to the B flat, which is so in our key, and A natural resolves upwards. Okay. This one doesn't have 4-part writing, so you didn't need to double a do or anything. I'm going to play all of the voices stacked up so that you can hear it a little bit clearer. So from the first, you've got this tonic 6/4. Okay, here's the augmented sixth chord. Okay, so as you can hear, lay and fi both have a lot of pull outwards to get us to the 5 chord. Okay. I'll keep showing you some examples and then some part writing. Okay. All right, so a French augmented sixth chord has lay, do, re, and fi. If you think of the word French itself, then you can see, right, sorry, getting my spotlight tool. So there's re, right, the name French, right? So French have lay, do, re, and fi. Okay. So in this one, we're in the key of F. So the French augmented sixth chord is towards the end here. Okay. This one is in F minor, so we didn't need an accidental for lay. So, but lay is D flat down here. F, of course, is do. This G right here is re, and then the B natural is going to be fi. Okay. And notice lay and fi both resolve out to so. This goes to a cadential 6/4 first and then goes to a 5, which is completely fine, as long as it goes to a dominant functioning chord. Okay. I will play just the last line, so I'm going to start on this 4 chord. Okay. Okay, so that French augmented sixth chord will have more of a dissonant sound than the other ones because we have do and re right next together, so you have a major second in this one that the other augmented sixth chords won't have. So if you are doing a dictation and you hear more dissonance, so you hear a major second or step somewhere, then it's going to be a French augmented sixth chord. Okay. We'll talk more about all those other ones some other time. Okay, German. The way that I remember German is instead of thinking how it's actually spelled, I think of it German, like M-E-N, and then you would have may in the word, right? So lay, do, may, and fee. Okay, so this one, let's actually look at one that's not an alto clef, just to make our lives a little bit easier. Okay, so if you look at this Mozart, so we've got a German augmented sixth chord right here. Okay, we're in the key of C. So A flat is lay, C is do, E flat is may, and then this F sharp right here is our fee. Okay. So by the end of that, you still have like this A flat being held like in the pedal tone basically. So this A flat will go down to so right here. The F sharp switches to up here. So this F sharp will then go up to G right here. Okay. Okay. Now the way that German augmented sixth chord sounds is like this. I'll play it just in like kind of close position. So you've got A flat, C, E flat, and F sharp. If that chord sounded very familiar, then you are correct. This sounds exactly the same as a 5/7 chord. And because of that, we will have more fun with this in the next chapter. But enharmonically, sounds exactly the same, but it resolves completely different, okay? If this was a 5/7 chord, it would resolve like this. This chord, though, resolves like this. And then potentially, okay? Completely different keys, different resolutions, okay? So the augmented sixth chord, since it usually has lay in the bass, will tend to have an outward kind of resolution sound. Okay. All right, here's what this one sounds like. All right, so the German augmented sixth chord right here resolved out. F5. Okay. Now you might have seen or heard something that would be unusual for part writing, right? So if you look at the bottom part, so we've got a perfect fifth right here between this A flat and the E flat, and he actually keeps it right here, G and D. And it's not super obvious to your ears though, because this is all arpeggiated. In part writing though, because of that, a German augmented sixth usually goes to a 1/6/4 first, and then it goes to a 5. And that's so that we can avoid any parallel fifths. Okay. Oh. This one, I will show you this one. Okay, so this one is an example of a German augmented sixth approached by mode mixture. Okay, so if you're in the key of G major, a flat six would be a good way to approach it because a flat six is only one note shy of a German augmented sixth, okay? Because a flat six is built on lay already. So you already have lay and do and may. So to get it to be a German augmented sixth, we have to add in is fee, so the C sharp right here, and then voila, you've got it, okay? This is pretty common also. So you've got German augmented sixth all the way through here, and then all of a sudden right here, it switches to just Italian, because at this last beat, we only have lay, do, and fee right here. So that B flat was may, it's deleted right there. That's so that we don't have any parallel fifths. Okay. Okay, another common bass position would be fee in the bass, okay. Which is what this one does. This one is also a different kind of chord. It's labeled German right here because enharmonically it sounds the same, but it's spelled a little different. So if you think about how a German augmented sixth chord would be spelled compared to this one, German would have lay, which in this case is the G flat. in the alto part because we're in the key of B flat major. So we've got lay right here, B flat is do, may is D flat, which enharmonically is the same thing as C sharp, right? But C sharp is actually re, right? And then that E natural down here is Phi. So this chord would actually be what's called a Swiss augmented sixth. This was taken from an old textbook, so they just did what was the enharmonic equivalent, okay? So Swiss is lay, do, re, fi. I remember it because, well, I think Switzerland and then I think, well, mountains and chocolate, which is really good. So this one has re in it. Okay. Your book calls it a doubly augmented 4/3 chord, except it looks more like this, doubly augmented 4/3, which is it's just that you got more than just an augmented fourth between the G flat and the C sharp. Let me get my spotlight back. Okay, so G flat to C sharp looks like a fourth interval, right? But it's bigger than just a fourth. A perfect fourth would be G flat to C flat, right? So G flat to C would be an augmented fourth. G flat to C sharp is a doubly augmented fourth. So it is a perfect fifth, but it doesn't look like a fifth. Okay. So that's what your book is talking about when it says a doubly augmented 4/3. It's just talking about a Swiss augmented sixth chord. Okay. Swiss augmented sixth chords sound exactly the same as a German augmented sixth, but they're spelled differently for voice leading purposes. So this C sharp shows you that in the next voice we're going to keep going up. So if you imagine it as a German spelling, it would have been a D flat. It would look kind of funny because that flat would infer that you're going to step down next. That would be implication. But the sharp shows us that we're actually going to go up next. Okay. So because of that, a Swiss augmented sixth chord actually has 3 tendency tones. Okay. So both lay and fi will want to go to so, which is what they do. Re wants to go to mi. Okay. It wants to resolve up. Okay, that means that a Swiss augmented sixth always goes to a cadential 6/4 first. It goes to a 1/6/4, and then it goes to a 5. And it's because re has to resolve up. Okay. Here's what this one sounds like. So the Swiss augmented sixth chord right here, resolved up to 1/6/4, and then 5, 1. Okay. So it sounds exactly the same as a German augmented sixth, but it's spelled differently. Okay, get rid of my markings here. Okay. This is to show you that you can use augmented sixth chords as like a temporary tonicization, so they can be used as like secondary chords. So the augmented sixth chord here is right in front of this 5. So in general, like overall, the scene is in D flat major, but there's a moment where this actually sounds like a different key right here. Okay, so right here, that F major chord shows us that we're actually momentarily in B flat minor. Okay. So if you think B flat minor and you look at this previous chord, we've got G flat, which is lay, B flat, which is do, C, which is re, and then this E is still natural from over here, so it's Phi. So that is French, right? Lay, do, re, and Phi. Okay. And you can hear the dissonance in the middle, and it resolves out to a 5. Okay. If you back up, there's one note difference in this one. So this one still has lay, do, but D flat is may, and then E natural is Phi. So first we actually had a German augmented sixth chord, and then it switched to French so that we wouldn't have perfect fifths, right? A parallel fifth getting into the 5. Okay. All right, sounds like this. So we had German, and then French, and then 5, and then it goes straight back into D flat. Anyway, and then it keeps going in D flat still. let me switch now and show you some part writing examples of this. All right. In each of these, I included resolutions straight to a 5 and to a 164 so that you can see the difference. Okay, so in this first one, and I just put a 1 in front of all of them. It can be approached by other things though too. So typically other chords that would go in front of a 5 potentially, and in particular chords that will increase the stepwise kind of motion. So very often it could be approached by, say, like a 4 or a 6 or a 2. Those would be common chords in front of an augmented 6 chord besides just 1. Okay. So notice in this Italian augmented 6 chord, I have 2 Gs. I've got a G here and a G there, right? Because Italian augmented 6 chords only have lay, do, and fi, so we double up do. E flat is right here. It's flatted in the key, right? Because we're in the key of G minor. So both the E flat, so lay, goes down to so, and C sharp, which is fi, goes up to so. Okay. Sounds like this. Oh, I forgot a B flat in the last chord. Sorry. Okay, this one goes to a 164 first before going to a 5. Okay. I'm going to put my B flat in the soprano. I should change that really quick. So, okay, pause while I fix it. Okay, I fixed my missing thirds. All right, so on to Italian augmented 6 and then 164 and then 5. Oh no, I don't think it wasn't sharing my screen. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so second measure. Sounds like this. So both of them were fine, okay? Both of them could have lay and fi going out to so. In this version, going to a cadential 6/4, it's completely fine. It just prolongs the resolution all the way to 5 until just a little bit later. Okay, here's the augmented 6. Oh, by the way, too, these chords, all these augmented 6 chords, they can go to a 5/7 as well. Okay, as long as it's going to a dominant chord, it's fine. Okay. All right, so French now. So the note that I changed is this tenor note. So instead of a G or do, we have A, which is re. Okay. Okay. Sounds like this. Now going to 164. This time, I mean, I could have done it in either voice, okay, but re will move to do, and then I moved my other do to may. Could have done it in either voice, but anyway, sounds like this. All right, German augmented 6 now. Okay, this one I went to 164. I didn't give the option of a 5 because if you imagine without the 164, I would have had this E flat and B flat going straight into a D and A, which would be parallel fifths. Okay, so that's why usually there's a 164 inserted first so that we can avoid that. Okay. So it sounds like this. So far I've put all of these augmented 6 chords in G minor just so that you could hear the difference within the same key, but they could all have been in G major too. I just would have needed accidentals every time for lay. Would have needed an E flat all the time. Okay, Swiss augmented 6 is the only one that can only be in a certain mode. It has to be in major because it this re, which is A sharp right here, that one has to go up to mi, right? And you only have mi if it's a major tonic chord, okay? All right, so here's what the Swiss augmented 6 chord sounds like. It's going to sound exactly the same as this one, okay? It's in major, okay? So here's what it sounds like. Okay. So exact same sound as German augmented 6, but different spelling so that the tenor line could show you where it was going. Okay. All right, that is it for augmented 6 chords.